Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here I found another giant blackthorn bush. However, in this case not just the bush, but also the fruit are giant for blackthorn standards. Well, look at the size of my bike. This is an above average size bike. Look at the size of this garden gate behind it, and at the size of this shrub. It's about 6.5 meters tall. And the fruit are also more than twice the size of normal blackthorn fruit. So this shrub resembles two different Prunus I found here in the last weeks. One was this cluster of really tall and thin Prunus trees, which almost looked like those columnar cottonwood trees, which are so popular in Europe. They were like more than 10 or 12 times higher than they were white. The crown of each one was 10 to 12 times higher than it was broad, despite the fact that there was no competition between them. They were growing just like in a columnar shape. And then I realized that a lot of plum gardens around here have this special strand of Prunus as rootstock. Another similar giant Prunus shrub without spines I found near the church of the village of Leutershausen, a couple kilometers over there, actually behind left of this mountain. And here I find something similar. Shape-wise, it's pretty much like a giant blackthorn shrub, but a giant blackthorn shrub without thorns or spines. This it has in common with the other giant blackthorn shrub from Leutershausen. It grows here, between two plots in a pretty much abandoned corner. Actually, some of the suckers kind of have... Oh, look at this. This sucker, for example, has a lot of spines. But if you go to the bigger plants, no spines. So maybe just the lower ones have spines. Well, you don't basically need... Well, actually, those are thorns. You don't actually need thorns 3 or 4 meters up. But those young plants, they still might need them against, well, goats, cows or deer, which all don't really come here. And then look at the size of those fruit. Let's try them. I managed to beat down only 2 of them. This plant has very few fruit. But I'm pretty sure that taste-wise there will be something between plum and blackthorn. Between plum and blackthorn, but closer to blackthorn. So this rootstock used around here had round fruit about this size, but they tasted definitely like plums. The giant blackthorn over there in Leutershausen was also more than 6 meters high and had no spines, but the fruit were definitely blackthorn. The size of blackthorn and the taste of blackthorn. This here, however, I've been finding it throughout Germany, Bulgaria and other European countries, those giant blackthorn shrubs with giant kind of mild tasting fruit. So I'm pretty sure that this is a hybrid between Prunus domestica and Prunus spinosa. Prunus spinosa is the blackthorn, the spiny Prunus. Prunus domestica is the plum. Pretty much all cultivated plums, the domestic plum. Why is it a domestic plum? Well, because it is already a hybrid between Prunus spinosa and Prunus cerasifera. So here, the hybrid hybridized with the parent, producing this giant blackthorn. Those giant blackthorns, they seem to be confused with the Haferschlee or Siebarte or other old small blue plum varieties. However, in this case, I'm pretty sure this is simply a hybrid between a wild blackthorn and some of the blue plums cultivated around here. But as I said, it's really complicated with those different plum varieties and hybrids and feral populations of hybrids or feral populations of rootstock in some cases. A very interesting field of study, but you need to do a lot of morphological studies and also a lot of genetic studies. But because of this hybridization and selection by man for thousands of years, even with genetic studies, it will be very hard for you to find definite answers. It's rarely that obvious like it is here. Size-wise, between blackthorn and plum. The habitus, also between blackthorn and plum. The leaves, also between blackthorn and plum. The ones on the older branches more like blackthorn, the ones down here more like plum. Spininess, also between blackthorn and plum. Very few spines, only on the young suckers down here. And especially the fruit, perfectly between blackthorn and plum. It's basically like a giant mild blackthorn fruit, about twice the size of a normal blackthorn fruit. Maybe not as blue as the average blackthorn fruit, but still a bit too small. It is especially a bit too tart for a ripe blue plum of any variety. Let's try the other one. Definitely more tart than any plum, but definitely more mild than a blackthorn. That's what the seeds look like. I'm really glad I found so many intermediate hybrids between blackthorn and plum. They are not too rare, but they are not that common, so you have to search for them. So really glad. Now I have like 3 intermediate things between plum and blackthorn, in addition to the many feral populations of plum cultivars I managed to find here, and of course in addition to the many plum cultivars. So folks, this was the hybrid between blackthorn and plum. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the farms and gardens of Germany. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.